So you're looking for the best 6 month electricity plan in Houston. Where do you start? What's the best company? Where do you go? Well, share my screen here real quick. And it's easy to get confused. I mean, there's just there's a lot of options when you start Googling it. I've been in the electricity industry for 10 years. And the first question you should probably ask is, well, do you really need a 6 month plan? So let's just kind of stop there and chat for a second. Kind of think about it, I can think of very few reasons why you would want or need a 6 month plan. You might be thinking, well, I'm moving in 6 months, yeah, so I don't need a long plan. Well, I mean, that's true, but one thing you should also understand is that in the state of Texas, by state law, you can be in a 10-year plan and it doesn't matter. If you move out of your location, there is no early termination fee. So that thinking you need to time the end of your plan with when you're moving is just not even something you should worry about, because there's no early termination fee by state law in the state of Texas. So you can be, sign a 2-year plan and in 2 months you get transferred, need to move, whatever. You don't have to worry about that. So really the main thing you should be worrying about is finding the best plan, regardless of how long you're going to be there. And the 6 month plan just really usually is not it. Yeah, I'll probably think of a reason before the end of the video, but let's just talk about why it probably isn't the best plan for you. First thing is, sometimes, yes, I recognize the 6 month plan can have a lower rate. Typically, that's when there's very decent certainty that prices are going to be low for 6 months. And so energy companies are like, well, okay, we'll offer a little bit of a lower rate for that. Sometimes companies offer them, sometimes they don't. Typically, when they do, there's some degree of certainty that rates are going to stay low. But, within a 6 month time frame, you're typically carrying yourself through an uncertain weather period, which is either summer, winter, hurricane season, which is in between the two, right? So it wasn't that long ago that there was a hurricane that hit Houston and knocked out a natural gas plant, and obviously rates went through the roof. And by the time you might have come back after 6 months and say, well, I wanted a 6 month plan because I thought rates were going to be lower in 6 months, so I'd renew then into a longer term, cheaper plan. Well, then your plan is ruined immediately. The same is true for extreme weather events in the summer and the winter. We had a polar vortex a couple winters ago in Texas that completely ruined rates for a long time. Again, that could ruin your plan. So if you're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go with a 6 month plan because I'm going to, in 6 months, I think rates are going to be lower and I'll renew them into a long term. Yeah, that's just, I mean, you're gambling. So if you're a gambler, great, go for it. But the reality is that you can typically look and find very good multi-year plans that offer a degree of certainty and consistency, which is probably in the long run going to be your best option regardless. So again, that the few reasons you would have to maybe, okay, I'm going to get a cheaper rate on my 6 month plan. Yes, but at what cost is the key. So again, you're just one weather event from that turning into a nightmare. And then all of a sudden you're forced to sign a longer term contract with rates significantly higher than when you started. So honestly, if you're looking at a 6 month plan, another reason it comes to mind is maybe you're a builder and you're remodeling a place and you think you need a short-term one. And that can be true as well in some cases, but typically there you're better off just going with a month-to-month plan. And you might call up different companies. They may have specific plans for that situation. Because you're not necessarily moving in that scenario, and you wouldn't be able to terminate the plan without a cancellation fee. But honestly, that's really about the only scenario that I can think. Most residential users, I mean, unless you're in that, like, you're remodeling a house, you bought it to flip, and you're going to be there for 6 months. So you're kind of like bridging that gap between the month-to-month plan and something longer term. That's the only scenario where that really makes sense at all. So just don't, if you're wanting to get the best rate for yourself at your home or apartment, just realize those risks, and generally speaking, don't go for the 6-month plan. I'd highly recommend, just actually taking a look at the YouTube channel, and I've got other videos on how to find the best plan and the best rate for your situation. That's really what you want to be looking at, not specifically zeroing in on the 6-month mark. So there you have it. Check out my other videos. I think you'll find them very helpful. Again, I've been doing this for over a decade, and there's a lot of behind the scenes as to some of the shenanigans that companies do out there in the electricity world, especially in the state of Texas, where there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of companies jockeying for position, in Houston and Texas, and yeah, it's a good thing, but you got to know how to navigate that marketplace. So there you have it. Check out the other videos, and subscribe below, and check out the links below too for more information. Thanks.